Welcome to Study On. This is Samia Aziz, and you're here with me to learn about forecasting exchange rates. This is chapter number 9, International Financial Management, and we will learn about a lot of good stuff regarding how firms use exchange rates, forecasting techniques, as well as some forecasting decisions to save their costs and increase their cash inflows. So, first, we will see that why firms forecast exchange rates. So multinational corporations are the ones who are performing their businesses with more than one country, right? This is and the definition of the MNC is this that any kind of corporation or business who is doing a business with more than one countries, that is in a category of multinational corporation. And to do their business, definitely they do import and export of the goods or maybe services. So this kind of situation involves exchange rate consideration because they have to send the currency for the sending the payments or either receiving it. The exchange rate comes in between. When exchange rate comes in between, it means that they have to make certain decisions regarding increasing their cash inflows and reducing their cash outflows. Now one way to do this is by using certain tools or techniques which is known as derivatives, just like it's the forward contracts or the futures and the options. Now what they do is just to hedge the risk. By hedging I mean it reduces or it minimizes the risk that your investment or your amount is carrying, right? So we can use this, but the thing is that MNCs use this, but the thing is that it comes with a cost. You have to pay cost to enter into any of the contracts you see on the screen. So any of the contracts carries a cost. It isn't possible to enter into any contract without paying certain costs. And now the thing is that if any firm relies heavily on hedging their risks, so they already are having a lot of cash outflows, which is not a good sign for firm. This thing is not a good sign for firm, because if there are a lot of cash outflows, ultimately the firm is going to bear a loss. So there might be something else which can reduce the cash outflows and can increase the cash inflows. What are these? These are forecasting techniques for sure. With the forecasting techniques, you can reduce your cash outflows and you can increase your cash inflows, which is ultimately good for the firm because receiving is good than paying. And also, with the forecasting techniques, there are certain decisions that the firms needs to make to, increase the cash inflows, right? So we will learn in this chapter regarding the forecasting techniques as well as the decisions that they should take. Who should take? MNCs. I'm talking about MNCs. MNCs should take all the decisions or make those important decisions in order to reduce their losses and increase the benefits. So let's move on to next slide and see that what needs to be done to make a good decision about forecasting. And there is something before moving to my actual slide, I would like you to learn about this, that there are certain good tips given by me on this exchange rate forecasting techniques. So the thing is that as per my research, as per my knowledge, as my knowledge is concerned, the thing I know is, or the thing I've learned is that the forecasting is good and forecasting is accurate when you are doing it for the near future. It means simply that if you're forecasting about currencies, right? We are talking about currencies. We are not talking about something else. You're forecasting about currencies, and we all know that the currencies are changing on daily basis, right? And with this change, the daily basis change can cause us, invalid results if we are going in a distant future. So the point is that for a good forecasting, for a valid forecasting, the businesses should focus on the near future. Near future simply resides to maybe 1 year period, because 1 year is fine. But if you're forecasting the currency for more than 1 year, which might be like a 5 year period, that will be not accurate, because the currency movements are highly fluctuating and the frequency of that fluctuating is too high, so you cannot be valid and that they won't be accurate. So what you have to do is, what MNCs do is, they focus on a near future. They forecast for the near future, because they bear the possibilities of occurring as per expected, right? And all we know that what is forecasting, and what is we just see the probability of the occurrence of the events, right? We see that how much possible it is to for an event to occur. So we just are seeing the possibilities. So these are the tips. Near future is fine, while for distant future, some other techniques will work. Next, we are seeing that the first decision firms have to make is regarding hedging decision. Hedging, as I told you, is about blocking the risks that you can have without, if you are not blocking it, if you're not uh, hedging it, you can bear a loss. So it's simply the blocking or minimizing of the risk, right? But it comes with a cost, as I told you. So what they hedge the future receivables and payables in foreign currencies, right? And there is an example to make you understand better that how hedging can be done. And if we are not hedging it, then how forecasting can help us reduce our cash outflows. Suppose there's a lion company which is based in a US, and it plans to pay for clothing that they have imported from Mexico in 90 days. You know that the credit terms that the firms buy and sell on the credit terms, that this is about the business, this is about accounting that we have learned. So the payment period is the 90 days, of course. And if the forecasted value of peso in 90 days is sufficiently below the 90-day forward rate, they are talking about the forward contract, right? We are talking about the forward contract. So the cost of the forward contract, whatever the cost of the forward contract is, it is just below the 90 days value of the peso. So the MNC may decide not to hedge, as it would save the cost of hedging. So see that you can hedge that risk by buying this forward contract, which is the same for the same period, which is 90 days, right? Which is for the 90-day period, but you have to pay certain cost of it. You have to pay some dollars to buy it. But the other way is that if on your forecasting techniques, and you have collected the data that the value of the peso is not going to increase, but it's going to be low in its value, it's going to weaken in its value. So, and it will be sufficiently below the rate of the 90-day forward, so you can relax and you can save the cost of not buying the forward contract, and rather paying on the date or the day when 90 days are completed by cash. So you see that this way your cash outflows have decreased. So we can first use this hedging decision quite efficiently to reduce your cash outflows. The other decision firms make is regarding short-term financing decisions. As we all know that to run our business day-to-day activities, we need short-term finance, because we cannot, suppose we are out of the cash and we cannot enter into a long-term contract. So the short-term financing is the best option to go for. And the thing is that why firms need to borrow, right? Why they need to borrow? This is because of their need. And the condition is here that MNCs choose the short-term financing on behalf of certain criteria. Now, what is that criteria that they choose to borrow? It is that they will borrow from a country that is exhibiting a low interest rate, which means that they are charging by the low interest rate, and that rate you will find easily by the bank's loan schemes. It's already available on their websites, or if you are going to meet them in person, they will tell you. And the other thing is, for the MNC's decision regarding the short-term financing will be that the currency that they are borrowing in, the amount that they are borrowing in a currency, that is expected to weaken. That is expected to, weaken through the financing period. And this is your research work. This work is needed to be done by you. So two things they have to consider for the short-term financing, and short-term financing in a way that the cash inflows are increased and the cash outflows are decreased. So the first thing is that that country is giving you a charging a low interest rate, as well as they will the currency will weaken in the period of your repayment, right? So that you have to pay less. Okay, now there is a thing to understand about it. So before going to actual the example problem, I would like you to understand this little thing regarding the appreciation and depreciation when it becomes favorable for an MNC or for any kind of business that is going on an international level. Now, allow me to explain this. This is when you are at the receiver side. It means that when you're a receiver of the cash from any foreign country, suppose this is a foreign country and you are a receiver of cash from the foreign country, maybe in dollars, and you stand at the side of the Pakistani rupees and you have to receive the cash. Now, being a receiver of the cash, your focus must always be on the appreciation of the foreign currency, because whenever dollar will appreciate, will go up, and your currency will of course go down, which means that your rupees, you have to pay more rupees to receive the dollars or to convert the dollars. It simply means that for each dollar converted in rupees, you will get an excess cash, right? You will get an excess or an extra cash, which is due to the increase in the value of foreign currency. So the MNC's focus will always and always be on the appreciation of the foreign currency when they are on a receiver side, when they have to receive the payments. Okay, and when things become reciprocal, when you are on the payer side, right? For suppose you bought something from US and you now have to pay dollars to US. Now your focus will always be that the other side where you have to pay, the currency should be depreciating or is depreciated, because it will be good for you. Now for each dollar that you have to send, you have to pay less PKR, you have to pay less rupees to pay for the dollars, because the dollar is depreciated, has gone into value, and Indian rupees has strengthened in the value. Now, having said that, let's see an example that will help you understand it much better. For suppose we are borrowing from a country and we expect its currency to depreciate over a period of our financing period, and also it is giving us a low interest rate. So suppose the country is India, and we are planning to borrow 100,000 rupees from India, and the tenure is 1 year, and the current rate of INR and PKR today suppose is 2.4. The interest rate, suppose for your simplicity, I have taken it as a 0%, which is easy to understand, which will help you to understand the basic phenomenon of how appreciation or depreciation is working. So interest rate is 0%, okay, for the 1 year period. And immediately if you look at it, that the rate, when we multiply the rate of PKR with 1 lakh, we are getting 2 lakh and 45,000 PKR. This is when 1 lakh is sent in our bank account. When we are going to bank and asking for the amount that is sent by India for us, the loan that we have taken, they will convert it to the PKR and they will give us the 2 lakh and 45,000 rupees. Now we can do our business with whatever business we have to do is, and it's now time to repay the loan. 1 year is been passed, and as per our expectations, the Indian rupee has devalued now because the value